Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Quack&Co, where every video is 10 minutes or less guaranteed, or double your money back.
And the points don't matter.
I'm here today with Mr. Chris George. Please introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Chris George. I run a channel called Roomandboard, where we also look at board games. I'm a sweet little board game boy, and today I am a thirsty board game boy.
Very thirsty.
I am thirsty for everything on this lovely earth.
On this lovely, lovely earth,
on our
tabled
on our
earth.
friggin' planet.
That's right.
I want it all. But
even that skunk that just blew out there.
Yes, that skunk. You know, it's a part of it. It's a part of it. It might be a bonus fauna card at some point.
That's true.
The Northwest skunk.
It's definitely possible. So on this wonderful Thirsty Thursday, we're going to be talking about Earth.
Yeah.
Because it's freaking amazing.
I mean, it's great, right? You've heard everybody and their mother speaking about Earth. My mother got this game for me, and there's a reason why people have been talking about it so much.
So first off, why did your mother buy it for you? Because I think that's a great story.
Yeah, so I run every Monday on my channel. I take a look at everything that's leaving Kickstarter or crowdfunding that week. It's called Crowdfunding Countdown. It's a Monday show, and I read through all the rule books of all the campaigns and try to be succinct and give a little explanation and try to be mildly entertaining. If I can give one single chuckle throughout the time there, then that is what I want.
You usually get 3 out of me, just for the record.
3?
Usually 3.
Honestly, that's usually too extravagant.
3. Yeah.
That is way too extravagant. But so on that, I remember covering Earth, and I remember reading through it, and thinking about the follow mechanic, which if you didn't see Monday Musing, well, we're talking about that.
Go back and look at that.
Yeah. We changed into the same outfits for today, to really make sure we were succinct and synced up. But I saw that it was fall mechanic, which I really like, and it was an incredible price point for Kickstarter. Kickstarter I always try to factor in the shipping prices, especially living up in Canada. That's very significant for me because it's always a little bit more than the US.
And you're paying a monopoly money.
Yeah, so that's true.
Also makes a difference.
Yeah, and it's hard when you're just covered in maple syrup and you're going to the bank and you're just dripping in it.
Please take these things.
But what's nice is that everybody does it, right? Like so we're used to being completely sticky all the time.
Oh, that's a horrible thought.
Like us thirsty boys like to be. So I mentioned that it was a great price point. I thought it looked really good, and also a Canadian publisher, Inside Up Games. They're based out of Toronto. And so I mentioned all 3 of those things. My mom watches the show because then we get to spend more time together. So she ordered it for me. She said, "Now listen, make sure there's going to be a game that's coming, and you need to know that it's from me because I watched your show and I thought I looked cool and I think you'll like it. So it's from me, not a publisher. Like, make sure you don't know that it's published. It's not a publisher sending you a game." I was like, okay. I was like, okay, so it's Earth then because it's from a Canadian publisher and, it was a good price point. She said those things. So thanks, Mom. My mom's name is probably in that cover because those are all the Kickstarter backers on the inside.
Everybody's name that was a Kickstarter backer is actually on this box lid here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's really cool. Literally everyone's name is in there. Yeah. It's amazing.
And, but there's something, let's talk about why we love this game, because I think everybody's been talking about it. Everybody's been talking about why,
Dice
it's been
Tower
such a hit.
Gave it the highest score so far.
On average, they really all enjoyed it, and there's something that's just so satisfying about constantly getting stuff. I think my girlfriend will like this in particular because she really likes games where she can, she calls it shopping. Like, she can spend stuff, right? Like, she's constantly getting stuff, and there's that cycle of things. She likes engine builders. Like, she likes Wingspan and Everdell and those sorts of things. Also in this kind of, nature theme. And so I feel like this can apply to so many different types of gamers, right? Like, for me, there's such a satisfying chaining of comboing and linking things together, and for somebody else, you've got the constant spending. You have an influx of so much stuff. Jesse was saying that it was the most generous game out there. And I think that's a great descriptor because you are constantly just overflowing with stuff. And I felt I had too much stuff. I had too many cards that I didn't know what I was doing with them. And I didn't really formulate like my plan as well as I could have or could have, and I like that too because you're just drowning in possibility.
Yeah, and whereas in most games like this, when you're engine building and stuff, you're always strangled for actions or you're strangled for resources. And in this, you're really never strangled for anything, and it's simple too. I feel like there's nothing overly complex or complicated in this, so people can pick it up quickly and run with it.
And sometimes it's just nice getting that dopamine hit. I mean, like, when we were playing, I don't know if you felt this, but I would constantly be like, wha-bam! Oh, I feel good about this. I feel good about this. I'm getting this and a little bit of that.
It's very true.
And so even at the end of the game, like, regardless of the score and what happens, you still feel like you did something exciting because all these things were constantly happening to you as well. And that's something that I really appreciate about this game for sure.
And what about replayability? Do you think there's plenty of that in this as well?
Just look at this. Look at this. You want some replayability? Let's look at this. Let's look at this. Oh God.
Yeah. And we've got a whole other discard pile over here as well.
We got replayability for days in the top camera. Like all of these cards
that's literally half the deck.
Will do different stuff and have different abilities and chain if they're next to different things, right? Like it's one that it's good to be excited about. I like being excited about games that have like I try not to have to pray too much into like hyping things up.
Sure.
But I think just with the price point that it is, I always think about price point because I'm very cheap and poor.
Frugal. We prefer frugal.
Yes.
In these words.
But like it's just got such there's so much replayability here, which even to the people who think that you can play a game, twice and then move on, or if you want to play it 100 times, I feel like your strategies are going to be varied every time, and it's just, it was just a heck of a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you've got goal cards up here as well. The goal cards will change each time you play, various different options there as well, which is really cool. And obviously because of the follow mechanic, there's not a lot of downtime in between turns, if any, in some circumstances.
Oh, look at this, the lava flow and the volcanic eruption.
Right on the top.
I didn't get either of those, but...
And I think that's another part about this game that's really entertaining, is that the pictures are so unique and interesting as well. I think that they did a good job with that.
I didn't look 1 second at
Not
the
one?
pictures. No.
Really?
I was so overwhelmed with everything else that was going on. I was like, I couldn't even tell you what any of these pictures were.
Totally fair.
But I like them.
Yeah.
Yes, I like them as well.
Okay,
that
good.
Sounds lovely to me. A lovely little flower, right?
And then you're building your trees and things. I mean, it's good. Good times.
Yeah, there's a lot of just really satisfying components about it. And
so now the real question, because you've played it once here.
Yep.
Are you going to open the copy that your mom gave you now?
I'm going to burn it. I'm gonna set it on fire. I've played it once.
It's good. We're good.
I know it's good. I'll try a different experience because I know that one's good. So why would I ever have that same good experience again?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. And I mean, you almost won.
I did almost win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spoilers for our playthrough over on Quackalope channel. But it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
It was a pretty fun one. No, I could feel it slipping away. I knew I had too many 0-point cards. But so I was pushing the engine, and then I pushed it too much.
To be fair, though, I mean, it was a 1-point game had I not managed to get that last card at the very end.
Yeah.
It was a 1-point game.
Which is pretty good.
Which is pretty impressive,
drowning in points.
Yeah. I really thought you had it. I really did.
I felt it slipping away. My last action helped me a lot because I wasn't pursuing. I was too focused on these goals up here, and I wasn't pursuing my own goals.
Fair.
But it was still fun. Really highly recommend checking out. Make sure you go get yourself a copy right now, or just play it. Right?
That's right.
Absolutely worth playing.
And that brings us to the end where we say, less time watching means more time playing, so get out there and play more games.
Yeah.
And you can do your Groundhog send-off.
Oh, dragons!
Thanks for being here, guys.
See you later.
Come back and see us again.